Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Berry, and this is Game Changers. I'm speaking with John Lai, the CEO of PetVivo. And PetVivo is a veterinary biotech company changing the game for companion animals such as our beloved dogs and horses suffering from arthritis and other afflictions. So, first of all, I want to start out with a congratulations. You have a national distribution of your product Spring to more than 600 clinics in 49 states. That is quite a feat, John.
Well, thank you. And also, we have expanded the product to cats now, too, as one of the cat studies will get published here, hopefully in the next 2 weeks. The study's been done, so the data is really good. It's just a matter of getting out there, and vets are using it ahead of it anyways. So we're excited to be able to help the cats market, too.
Yeah, and you were saying cats have a smaller bone structure, so it's a little bit easier for them to receive this product.
Well, actually, you're getting a really big bang for the dollar because the joints are so small. You can pretty much on a single syringe inject 4 joints, even though if it doesn't need it. I've always argued this is a good prophylactic to prevent issues going forward. Obviously, it's hard to do a study on a negative, but just from the functionability we've seen in the real world with dogs and cats that have had issues with the joints, how well the product has worked.
And I saw some social media. You were recently at a really big conference, and that was successful. Talk about that. And there's two other conferences coming up where there will be a lot of conversation about the product Spring.
Yes. So we just completed a conference called the American Association of Equine Practitioners. It's the largest equine practitioner conference. This year, it was held in San Diego, and it was a noticeable difference on the acceptance of the product and the visibility of the product. So we went to the first one 3 years ago. It was in Nashville. And at that conference, vets would walk up and say, Spring, what is it? And then last year, vets were saying, I've heard of Spring, but I don't really know a vet in my network that's using it. This year, they came up and said, we've heard a lot of good things about Spring, and my friend vet, in this area has been using it and speaks highly of it. And they were willing to order more than 1 or 2 syringes on the spot. They were willing to try out 6 syringes and stuff like that. So we're gaining momentum in the equine space. To give you an example of the size of the market, so in the equine, there's about 8 million horses in the United States. In the canine market, there's about 83 million dogs in the United States. And in the feline market, there's about 60 million cats. So the majority of our sales coming up into the AEP, over 90% probably was in equine. Now, what has changed is at the American College of Veterinary Surgeons, I believe that was early October, one of our studies regarding dogs and cruise ship injuries, which is like a human's ACL, MCL. So it's a pretty dramatic injury. We had really good results come out from the ethos study. So that gave us the catalyst to go after a much larger market in terms of the small animals, the dogs, and the cats. So that's what's been helping us really drive the adoption. And then you'll see a revenue mix, start watching the decline in the number of equine clinics. I mean, not clinics, but the percentage of sales will be declining as going forward because the small animal will start taking over as the majority of our sales. And that's why it's important leading up to the two future conferences. The first one is January 13th in Orlando, which is the Veterinary Medical Expo. It's the biggest small animal conference in the United States. And at that conference, we expect to hear a lot of good stories from vets that have been using our product. And what we have found out in the past is when vets are keynote speakers or podium speakers, they bring up our product. It draws a big crowd to our booth. We believe that will be happening at this conference. And then the second largest conference is the second week in February. in Las Vegas called the Western Veterinary Conference. So East Coast and West Coast. So the vets that don't go to the East Coast one will go to, the West and vice versa. The vets in the West Coast that doesn't want to go East. So it gives a good opportunity for us to have a lot of exposure. And I'm very comfortable at those two conferences. They'll be talking about the cat safety study and the dog safety study, the ethos study, and we got hip dysplasia studies and everything that will be coming out relatively soon. And that will help drive the mix of distribution. And MWI is our distribution partner. So they have 400 territorial managers. 35 of those territorial managers are in the equine space approximately. So you can see the magnitude and size now that we can go after.
Wow. And I'm sure what also helps this growth is some of the feedback you've been getting from the veterinary doctors and pet owners. I've seen some great videos on social media. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so we've been getting some really, really good videos that veterinary doctors are putting up on their own, and we have no idea. And then one of our shareholders will point it out, or the vet eventually sends it to us. We have a case of hip dysplasia in an elderly dog that didn't qualify for one of our studies. And the vet just felt so sorry for the family because it had multiple issues beyond hip dysplasia. So I think at his cost, he just did the injection for the family, the hips, and then the other issues. And the dog, the family sent him the video how long it would take the dog to climb up the stairs to get to the bedroom. And it would take about 11 seconds. 60 days after the spring injection, they had the video showing the dog was running up there in about 2 seconds. So it was a dramatic improvement. And then we have other vets doing surgery and using the product to protect the bilateral joint, because 80% approximately of the opposing joint takes on so much pressure when surgery happens on one that it fails within the first year. So they've been using it to prevent that failure, and they're getting really good success with it. And the vet basically says, I love this product. This is like one of the greatest products ever invented. So that was a powerful video, because these are prominent surgeons. And when they're starting to talk about it, it helps us when new veterinary doctors are looking at, heard of the product, they start doing research, and then they go on various vet blogs and so on, and they see it. It helps our salespeople and MWI salespeople get the order.
Well, there you have it. PetVivo changing the game for our beloved companion animals, horses, dogs, and cats, which ultimately helps the owners, those that love them so much. Great work, John. Always great speaking with you.
Thank you. Great seeing you too, Anna.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone.